and he didn't want to pay it. And his listenership went way down. And basically, when you hit the like button or you post a bulletin up on Facebook, a lot of people think if you have, let's say, 1,000 friends, you think you post something up and all 1,000 of your friends see it. The problem is only a very small percentage will see what you post. So maybe out of 1,000, maybe 50 or 60 people see your post, and that's it.
Right.
Well,
isn't that something?
And that started around maybe February this year. They started doing it. And, he was running, that's how he got his listenership too. So he was posting, every couple of days, who his guests were going to be on his network. He was just got done doing a biker movie and he was promoting that. And all of a sudden, he was posting, but his audience level started going way down. And then I noticed my audience level started dropping down or not growing at that point. And then all of a sudden I got what says boost post. So I clicked on it. Okay, you want 50 to 300 people to see your ad? Okay.
That cost such and such and such and such.
Yeah, $5. You want up to 3,000 people? Now you're up to $20.
Yeah, I know all about it because of the page I run. My show is called Live With Me, and I have a page for it, which I run out of my group. But, yeah, every time, and plus I run, I administrator for CERT, and it's the same thing on their page. It comes up, you want this many, like you just said, you want this many viewers, it costs this much, and this many. The more viewers, the more money, and they try. It's like yes, yep. They've learned how to try to make money off of it.
Oh yeah.
If they hold back as many people. If they hold back, they govern how many people you can see, and then they come back and say, well, we'll charge you this, and we'll make sure these many people see. Now, see, if I did that, they would call that extortion. It's called legalized extortion on the other end. But
yeah,
I mean, think about it.
Well, I have, but and to build up the audience we have, I used Facebook at the start quite a bit. It's not as dependent now because people have found me every which way now. But, at the start, I'm retired. We did have one advertiser on our show. I cut him out because he started dictating who my guest could be. As soon as he did that, I figured I didn't need his commercial. I'm retired. I just like Art Bell did when he started, going back on broadcasting with Midnight in the Desert. It was all out of his pocket, and people don't realize it. I mean, to run a show like I run, the expenses are quite a bit. They're just not the internet. You have like your server costs, your rental, and then a lot of people don't realize a lot of the apps out there charge you to be on. So if you want to be on iTunes or whatever, all of a sudden now you're paying this guy, you're paying this guy, you're paying this guy. If you don't pay him, you don't get heard. And that's the whole problem. So it makes it hard. But Facebook really upset me because, you could easily drop $300, $500 a week if you want to get really out there on Facebook. How many people can do that? Maybe the big companies can, but the small person like you or me can't afford to, promote your shows like that.
You're exactly right. And the only reason why I'm having success is I figured a way around those things. One thing, I don't rely on just my friends as opposed. I built up, my reputation's pretty good. I have never ripped nobody off or anything shady. So that's good. Once people can trust you, you got a decent reputation. Then I've been fortunate because I own a few groups and administrate a bunch of groups, and I'm good. I'm in good with a bunch of other groups, so I can rack off 50, 60 groups, and I can share in those groups with they all average probably 1,000 a group. So that gives me access to 50,000 people or so that could actually have potentially see my stuff. Now, of course, they all won't see that, but I'm just saying, compared to just my friends, which would be maybe 400 friends, and only maybe 50 of them can see it, there's a big difference there. From potentially 400 people of my friends to maybe 50,000 in all the groups. And that's why my show's really grown, because I advertise out there in all these different paranormal groups and and sometimes cross over into the some psychic groups too, because I have psychics on sometimes too, and that's what's helped me get viewers. But yeah, if it's come down to me, small, because I'm all nonprofit. I've never charged for anything in my life for any readings or any of my psychic ability. I've never charged ever for helping anybody with any paranormal problems, and never will. It's all nonprofit, so it wouldn't pay for me to pay $50 or $20 to get an extra 10,000 people. You know what I mean? I'd be going backwards.
Oh yeah, I mean, unfortunately, our show has been growing and growing. We're in the process of getting picked up on, working to get picked up on radio stations. I do get picked up once a week out of a station out of the UK that, randomly picks one of my shows each week to run for 2 hours on Sundays. But, that's why I got a huge, audience base out of the UK. I actually, of all the people listening out of the UK and out of Europe, is about 40% of my listenership, which shocked me.
Yeah, and even me, I've got a lot of listeners and people from UK and Denmark and Holland and all around that listen to my stuff all the time. And it is it's another double-edged sword, because even if you get sponsors, because what happens, you touched on this a little bit, is once you get sponsors, once it gets to a point, now they become where they give you so much. Now they want to dictate your show, and now it's their show. So now you see I know you must know what I'm saying there. So it's a double-edged sword.
Well, I'm not going to mention the entertainment company, but about 4 months ago, a major international entertainment company, which owns well over 100 and some radio stations in this country, approached me, and they wanted to take my show nationally. And I wasn't ready 4 months ago. I mean, I've been out of radio before I went back on for almost 10 years. So I had a 10-year, break away from, being on radio. And I felt like I wasn't ready. I was trying to get myself back like I used to be, which takes a while after a 10-year, being out of it.
Get your sea legs.
And they, they tried even, saying, oh, we'll fly up. One of the vice presidents was willing to fly up here, up by Tacoma, Washington, and take me, because they knew by reading my profiles I was into Harley motorcycles big time. I mean, we own 3 of them here, and they offered to buy me a new motorcycle. They offered me a huge contract, and my wife was saying, hey, wow, that's a lot of money. You got to do it. But then I started, looking at everything over, and all of a sudden, I couldn't take my own phone calls. I couldn't pick out my own guest. I would be working strictly for them. And so, it's something I don't want to do. It wouldn't be fun anymore. And I told Art when I did this, I said, I'll get back into it after, we talked about it. I said, I'll get into it as long as it's fun. The day it stops being fun and it's like a hard job, I'm not going to do it anymore, because that takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, because they're going to use you as a puppet and basically humpback and ride your name and your reputation, but yet you got to do what they say and their guests and stuff. It's a hard one. I get it. I do know what you mean.
Yeah. And then I also had the Biker Network, want me to, I guess the guy that runs it, is quite famous as a singer, guitar player. He's produced a couple movies, been in a couple movies, done all that stuff. His wife is really into the paranormal, found my show, loved it. They wanted me to do it, but then all of a sudden it was like an all-night gig doing the paranormal, 5 nights a week. And I'm going, okay, I'll be honest with you. I don't mind. I tried up to a week ago. For the last 2 months, I was doing a 3-hour show. I cut it back down to 2 hours because it wasn't fun at 3 hours. And, 2 hours, I can have a guest or 2 guests on. We can have a good conversation. 3 hours, it started getting to be, stretching it where I was tired.
Yeah. And I think also, now I'm no radio expert, but I do know a lot about psychology and people's actions. And usually after 3 hours, unless you're really doing something, they're going to drop off, or that's too long. I think it's too long. You know what I mean?
Or fall asleep.
Yeah, there you okay. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with that's too long. My shows I just try to cut them to an hour for many reasons. One, I don't like same principle. I don't want to go too long and people fall asleep. Plus, I'm battling Wi-Fi connections. I'm battling my phone having an attitude. I'm battling my weather and Facebook. I got 4 things I got to have all line up and be in a good mood in one day. And you never know when you lose a connection or whatever. So, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, I know how it is. I have a new host that comes on now. He was on Sundays. Now he's going to be doing Saturdays, called The Paranormal Lawyer. And he is actually a lawyer in Washington State. And he's really into the...
I've seen a couple of his... what's his name? Mike?
Michael W. Hall.
Yeah, Michael W. Hall, yep.
And, he does an internet thing called the UFO I-Team. And, he was over last week, and we were talking in my studio, and I go, maybe we should, promote your UFO I-Team on the network, too, because since he does a regular talk show on my network. And we go, yeah. And I, for the last couple of months, I've been watching, his Facebook Live, where he does his things out of Denny's restaurant.
Yeah, I love that. I love that concept. They're sitting around for a little dinner and a talk.
That Denny's is where the American people go to eat, but I learned that from him. But you know what? He never was losing connection, or if he did, it was like maybe once in a 2-hour time frame. So, we were all set yesterday, and I'll tell you, I was sweating bullets because last night I had 2 major guests on. I had Mary Joyce, which is very well known worldwide, and then I had Ronald on Farnham, which was the ex-DOD agent on my show, and it was kind of really talking conspiracy last night. That I was worried about, how that was going to go, but then I board opt the UFO I-Team show for two hours, and every 2 minutes, guess what? It would freeze up. His Facebook Live would freeze up no matter what. And and like I said, for months I was watching his Facebook Live, never was doing it. Last night it was constant. So I mean, hopefully that works its way out. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope so too. Right, because I watched some of it, and I thought that was a pretty ingenious kind of a concept. Really, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, hopefully we can get it to work. I found it strange on our premiere night, and he actually had a couple people call in, like Peter Davenport. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's very famous in the UFO thing for reporting and all that stuff. Yeah. He called up on the show and all that stuff, and most of it wasn't going over the air because Facebook was, that's the advantage of disadvantage when I'm doing a show like that. Hey, I got a phone call coming in, and I think guess who it is? It is going to be Michael, the paranormal lawyer.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, are you there? No, Michael, are you there?
Hello, Gary. It's Michael.
Well, hi, Michael. How's your day going?
Oh, wow. It's been a great day. Running all over the place, trying to get some stuff done when it's not too hot,
Okay, you're lying to me. You're a friend of mine, right? You know darn well you weren't running. You were driving from place to place. Come on.
Well, that's true. It's the generic term once you get over 55,
Well, we have James on here who does what you do. He runs the Facebook Live page.
Yeah, James, nice to talk with you.
Yeah, you too, Michael. I was just telling Gary, I love your little concept there out of Denny's. I just love that idea.
That's where America eats.
That's what he said. That's what he said. Yeah, you're right.
You mean where Denny's, where American people eat?
There you go.
Yeah.
But I actually have seen Orientals and blacks in there too. So I what can I say?
Oh no, it's multinational, especially in the one in Linwood here. That's what we use for sure.
Well, any Russian spies go in there?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, did you listen, Michael, by the way? Did you listen to my show at all last night, or were you out running around?
Let's see. I listened to your intro, but not the whole show. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I had Mary Joyce on last night, and we were talking about a lot of things. And this alleged Russian spy that got involved with the GOP.